Hey TRP kids, I am sitting here in a cozy corner of my apartment in front of my Christmas tree, which is not decorated yet. I am here to help you start the season of Advent by telling you a story. But first I wanted to tell you a joke, because jokes are fun and funny. Hopefully it's funny. We'll see. And if you like the joke, maybe you can tell your parents and you can let me know how it goes. Okay, who brings baby sharks their presents on Christmas? Santa Jaws. Get it? Because it's like Santa Claus, but instead it's Jaws, like sharks of Jaws. I know you got it at first. When you tell the joke, don't explain it afterwards, because that kind of ruins it. But anyway, I'm going to read you something and then we are going to talk about it afterwards. So here we go. In the time of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah. His wife Elizabeth was also a descendant of Aaron. Both of them were upright in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly. But they had no children because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well along in years. Once when Zechariah's division was on duty and he was serving as priest before God, he was chosen by lot, according to the custom of the priesthood, to go into the temple of the Lord and burn incense. And when the time for burning of incense came, all the assembled worshippers were praying outside. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was startled and was gripped with fear. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to give him the name John. He will be a joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth, for he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit even from birth. Many of the people of Israel will he bring back to the Lord their God, and he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord." Zechariah asked the angel, "How can I be sure of this? I am an old man, and my wife is well along in years." The angel answered, "I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and to tell you this good news. And now you will be silent and not able to speak until the day this happens, because you did not believe my words, which will come true at their proper time." Meanwhile, the people were waiting for Zechariah and wondering why he stayed so long in the temple. When he came out, he could not speak to them. They realized he had seen a vision in the temple, for he kept making signs to them but remained unable to speak. When his time of service was completed, he returned home. After this, his wife Elizabeth became pregnant and for 5 months remained in seclusion. "The Lord has done this for me," she said. "In these days he has shown his favor and taken away my disgrace among the people." Okay, so in this story, the angel Gabriel tells a priest named Zechariah that he and his wife Elizabeth are going to have a baby, even though they're too old to have children. This baby will be named John, and his job will be to teach everyone about God. All this happens during the reign of King Herod the Great. Imagine having something like the Great after your name, like Tessa the Great. Kind of has a ring to it, not gonna lie. The Romans had appointed Herod to be in charge of the land of Judea and some other territories. A priest was someone, in case you didn't know, who worked in the temple to take care of the sacrifices that had to be made every day. Priests did things like giving blessings to people and making sure all the furniture and lamps were set up properly and that they were working. Since there was so much work to do, the priests were divided into groups, and there were 24 groups who each spent about 2 weeks a year taking care of the temple. In the story, Zechariah's group is taking its turn working in the temple. So when Gabriel comes to Zechariah, he is at the temple doing his job. Gabriel tells Zechariah that he and Elizabeth are going to have a baby boy. Gabriel even names the baby, which is pretty unusual because usually parents name their babies, right? I mean, my parents named me, and I'm pretty sure your parents probably named you. But this will not be an ordinary baby. He will grow up to be a special servant of God. So Gabriel names the baby John, which means the Lord is gracious. Do you know what it means to be gracious? To be gracious is to be kind to those who don't deserve it. So when John grows up, he will tell everyone about how gracious God is, because everyone can be forgiven of their sins by believing in Jesus. But Zechariah doesn't believe Gabriel, since he and Elizabeth are too old to have children. I bet you can understand how it might be hard to believe something is happening that you thought was impossible, even if an angel of the Lord is delivering you the information. So near the very beginning of the Bible, in the book of Genesis, there's another story that sounds like Zechariah and Elizabeth's. It's the story of Abraham, the father of all Israel. Like Zechariah and Elizabeth, Abraham and his wife Sarah were too old to have children, but God promised that they would have a son. Abraham and Sarah didn't believe God either, but they had a baby boy anyway. His name was Isaac. We all know an Isaac, don't we? Isaac's children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, and so on, became the nation of Israel. Without Isaac, there would be no Israel. God did something big back in Genesis, and it all began with one miracle baby. John will be a miracle baby too, just like Isaac. He too will be born to parents too old to have children, and just like Isaac, John's birth means that God is on the move again to do something grand and unexpected. This time, God is sending his son Jesus into the world to save people from their sins. Now, this story is something that I think would be good to think about as we begin this season of Advent and wait patiently for Christmas, the day Jesus was born into the world, a miracle baby, just like John and just like Isaac. Now, if you know me, you know I love making things, and I believe that we all have creativity within us. So I would love to see you draw a picture of a part of the story that grabbed your attention for whatever reason. It could be Zechariah in the temple, it could be the angel Gabriel, or anything else that just stuck out to you in the story. If you do draw something, have your parents send it to me so that I can see it, because I would love to see what you come up with. Until then, I hope that this story can help you remember why we celebrate Advent, why we celebrate Christmas, and what we are waiting for during this season.